Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about how I get my cheeks to look super plump and juicy, unlike the pictures to my left, with just makeup. So let's get into it. The first thing that I like to do is use a color corrector under my eyes, and as you can see, I'm bringing it pretty far down because my goal in this is just to create a very even base. As much as possible, I want to get rid of the dark circles under my eyes and just have my under eye and my cheek kind of just become one. All of the products that I use, guys, will be listed down below, but this one is the Stellar Limitless Concealer in a shade that is a little bit too dark for me, but really works well as a color corrector. You can always add a little bit more in the areas that look the most sunken in, which is what I'm doing here, just to continue to brighten up that area. Keep in mind, we're still going to be going in with a lighter concealer later on. Next, I'm going in with a foundation combo. Both will be listed below, but they are both very juicy, plumping kinds of foundations that are very dewy. And as you can see, I'm focusing the product on the tops of my cheekbones, and then I'm just going to blend that out with a brush. When I get near my eyes, I'm really trying not to wipe off the color corrector that I have underneath, so I'm really more like stamping the foundation just a little bit over top of my under eyes. And then I'm taking a flat sponge and adding a little bit more foundation, again, just to kind of melt that line between where my dark circles end and where my cheeks begin. I really am trying to flatten that surface out and blend it all together as much as possible. Next, I'm going to go in with an actual concealer that is brighter than my under eyes. So I'm going to use a thicker formula. I mean, NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer would work well if you have that, but I'm going to use this MAC Studio Fix, I believe it's called concealer. And I just like a thicker formula for this because I feel like it adds volume and just helps to fix kind of any sunken in eye look. I mean, it's not a miracle worker, but as you can see, it really does help to brighten it up. And again, I'm taking this pretty far down because, once again, I'm really trying to even out the playing field between my under eyes and my cheeks. Okay, next we're going to start by sculpting the cheeks. So I'm going to use a Sigma E25 brush, which is fluffy but kind of pinched, so it's a little bit skinny. And I'm just going to coat that brush with a cream contour. This is the KKW Beauty contour stick. Just rubbing off any excess on the back of my hands. And then I'm going to smile and see where the apples of my cheeks and my natural shadows kind of fall. So I'm just going to follow that line and really round out my cheeks and sculpt it out. Very lightly, very light hand here. Once I've got that kind of rounded shape going on, I'm going to start connecting that with just a regular kind of under cheekbone contour. It's really kind of like a very rounded Nike check mark, if you can kind of see. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I went a little bit heavier than I normally would have, just so that you guys can really see where I'm placing the product. But I think you can tell versus the side I haven't done and the side that I have done, it's really looking a lot more sculpted and lifted and fuller. And my goal is also to take away from the dark lines that I have that are kind of pulling my face downwards and instead create a heavier and more exaggerated line underneath where my actual apples of my cheeks are. And here I'm just doing the other side. you want an even rounder look, you can start bringing it up a little bit, kind of where I'm placing it here. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but you can even go for a more rounded look, but just be sure that it's not too intense. Now I'm just taking some concealer and I'm really just trying to brighten up kind of any dark creases or any dark shadows that I have on my face that might fall underneath of the sculpted area that I just created. Okay, now I'm going to take a kind of highlighty setting powder. This is the Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder in the shade Golden Hour. And because people who have fuller cheeks, the light often just hits their face a little bit more, kind of right underneath of the eye and on top of the apples of the cheeks. So I'm just going to apply some natural looking highlight there. And I'm not using a typical shimmery highlighter for this. I'm using just a very glowy setting powder because I want it to look natural, and probably putting a sparkly highlighter right underneath my eyes wouldn't look very flattering or natural. Next, it's time for blush, and that's really going to add like that juicy, really youthful look. And I'm just using the same brush because I want to keep it a pretty small brush so I can really focus it on the apples of my cheek. And I'm not afraid to go pretty high up on this. Like, I would avoid kind of bringing the blush down past, where your apples of your cheeks are. So as you can see, I'm really going kind of underneath of the eye. I'm really not shying away. The higher up that you go, the more lifted that your cheeks will be. I also like to take it kind of on the sides of my nose. I don't know why, I just feel like that adds to kind of that youthful, natural glow. Now, if you feel like you've lost some of the definition, you can always go back in with your cream contour and redefine that cheek. Now I'm going back in with that glowy setting powder and just adding a little bit of extra glow right on the fronts and the tops of my apples of my cheeks. And that is the look. I hope that you guys can tell that my cheekbones look much more defined and juicy and plump and lifted. I really love this look, so I hope that you guys liked it too. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!